For an entire month, someone had been leaving a bag of trash right at my front gate every single morning. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't catch the culprit. One evening, my wife, Sarah, looked at me and said, "It has to be someone who heads out early for the 6 a.m. prayer service at the chapel. They probably drop it off on their way." Now here was my problem. I was a Christmas and Easter kind of Christian. I hadn't been to a morning service in years. But I was fed up. I told Sarah, "Wake me up for the early service tomorrow." She looked at me like I'd grown a second head. "The sun must be rising in the west tomorrow," she joked. But sure enough, the next morning, she nudged me awake before dawn. I jumped up and looked out the window. The driveway was clear. I quickly got dressed, said a short prayer, and looked out again 5 minutes later. There it was, a fresh bag of garbage sitting there like it was mocking me. This went on for 5 days. I'd wake up, get ready, and by the time I was headed out the door, the trash would mysteriously appear. On the 6th day, Sarah said, "You know, dear, since you're up anyway, why don't you actually go to the church service? Maybe you'll see who's doing it on the way." The next morning, I did just that. I sat on a bench near the church entrance 10 minutes early, watching every parishioner walk by. I scanned their hands for trash bags, but everyone was empty-handed. When I got home, the driveway was perfectly clean. After 2 weeks of attending the morning service, I felt like a new man. My faith was renewed, and the trash phantom had seemingly vanished. Last night at dinner, I started venting about that litter bug again. My son Leo looked up and smiled. "Dad, don't be so hard on them. That person is actually your guardian angel. Thanks to them, you're finally back in the pews every morning." I froze. I looked at Leo, then at my other son, Oliver, who was stifling a laugh. "Dad," Oliver whispered, "your angel is sitting right across from you." I turned to Sarah. She just shrugged and took a sip of her tea. "Well," she said with a wink, "sometimes you have to rock the boat a little bit to get it back to the harbor. I knew the only way to get you to church was to give you a mystery to solve." I couldn't help but laugh. Sometimes God works in mysterious ways, and sometimes he just uses a very clever wife and a bag of kitchen scraps.